G'day, Pickleball family. First thing to know, as shared on Gothamist.com, pickleball players returned to Riverside Park in New York City courts after vandal repeatedly cuts nets. An unknown vandal recently caused about $2,800 in damage at pickleball courts in Riverside Park on Manhattan's Upper West Side by slashing nets and absconding with equipment on multiple occasions when no one could stop him, according to police and parks officials. But the local pickleball community has remained undeterred in pursuing their pastime, coming together to raise funds for new court nets that are now kept safe overnight in 2 locked metal boxes. Someone wants to take away our fun, said May King, a 55-year-old who plays at the court at 110th Street between matches on Friday afternoon. A fun thief chimed in her pickleball partner, Tana Shen. Look at our beautiful community here coming to play, and then everything is destroyed. A spokesperson for the NYPD said there were currently no suspects while the investigation continues. One pickleball player, Eduardo Valentin, said the slashing of the nets first started about 6 weeks ago and was discovered when people showed up to play. Pickleball has grown wildly popular in New York City over the past few years, drawing both fervent fans and irked detractors. The Riverside Park courts, which are about a year old, are heavily used. Last Friday, dozens of players were there as the sound of plastic balls being hit and laughter could be heard from 100 yards away. Community members said they did not believe the vandalism was related to the sport's meteoric rise. It's not making any noise, said Valentin. We don't know if it's a net issue or a what issue. We don't know. Some players said they arrived early at the courts last weekend to see a man in a black shirt cutting the nets and carrying off equipment. They said they confronted him and took photos that they later submitted to police. Sam Pilcher said the man seemed to have been on a bender or something all night. I don't attribute it to anything more malicious than that, he said. The Riverside Park Pickleball Group has roughly 1,400 members who quickly replaced the damaged nets with temporary ones that they now secure outside of playing hours, according to interviews. Members said they are a tight-knit community that assembled from other parts of the city where competition over court space had become intense. We need to set the tone because if you don't set the tone, people from outside the community will come and set the tone for you, Valentin warned. Thanks ever so much for making it this far into the update. Please be sure to hit subscribe and like, comment and rate on the platform you're watching or listening to it on so this and future episodes can be found by and shared with other fellow pickleballers. Second thing to know, as shared on spokesman.com in the Spokesman Review, new pickleball facility coming in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. For 5 years, pickleballers have been in negotiations with the city of Coeur d'Alene for more courts. Earlier this month, the Inland Northwest Pickleball Club took the advantage. The city didn't really have enough money to do the projects that we wanted, but we knew we needed more pickleball courts in the area, said Craig Wolf, president of the Pickleball non-profit. So the club stepped up. The organisation raises money through membership fees and hosting tournaments, Wolf said. This month, the group announced it secured private funds for what Wolf called the biggest facility in the Northwest. The club has done pretty well raising money over the years, he said. Our first tournament was in 2014 when we were just forming, and we've been putting aside money for a good project for a while. Cherry Hill Park will soon boast 12 permanent outdoor pickleball courts. Wolf said work will include converting 4 of the 6 existing tennis courts. I want to be polite to the tennis people, but the courts were very rarely being used, he said. That's the bottom line of it. The revamped space will be called the Parker Subaru Pickleball Courts after the car dealership that donated $85,000 to the cause. The sum will only cover a portion of the work, though. Wolf estimates the conversion will cost around $180,000. The cost of these things just keeps going up, he said. We were originally talking with the city about building 6 standalone pickleball courts, but it was going to be about $500,000. This is far cheaper for more courts. Work is underway. Wolf said holes have been drilled and concrete was poured to bear the poles that will support the nets. Next, workers will erect fencing between each court, surround the area with a windscreen, touch up the playing surface with an acrylic material and repaint, he said. Unlike other outdoor courts in the area, the dozen at Cherry Hill will stay up all summer and be free and accessible to anyone with a paddle. Other places like courts at Comstock Park on the South Hill are more temporary. Their players access nets by entering a code into a lockbox. They'll be just like tennis courts, except, of course, they are pickleball courts. Wolf said they will be up all summer until the first snow flies, then they'll come down. The new facility will host one of the organisation's biggest events of the year, the Coeur d'Alene Classic, held July 11 through 14. We have about 440 people already signed up from 20 states, he said, so it's a pretty big deal. Membership with the club starts at $30. Fees like that go to at Cherry Hill Park and also to maintenance work the group performs on the courts in the area. Wolf said membership has reached 500 people. No matter where you go, it's a very welcoming community, he said. I've played in 10 states already. I know when I put my paddle up, I have friends already. Third thing to know, as shared on krqe.com for KRQE News, Albuquerque, New Mexico Pickleball Tournament helps highlight new courts installed by City. After a complete revamp of Albuquerque's largest pickleball complex, players from across the community were finally able to use it for a tournament aimed at putting Albuquerque on the sports map. From May 23 through 27, the City of Albuquerque and Pro Sports New Mexico held an amateur tournament with the pros event. The tournament had 203 participants and several brackets for all skill levels. The courts at Manzano Mesa went under a complete replacement, and the city added 15 new courts, bringing the total to 33 with a new championship court. The city is also working on phase 2 of the project to add an additional 6 more courts. Officials said with the growing community, it could soon put Albuquerque on the national pickleball map. This is something hopeful that can get us within a year or two. Again, it kind of depends on the interest, said Pro Sports New Mexico owner Jeremy Dyke. It's nice to see the community come out and support it. Even pros said this new investment from the city will be huge. It was vital, absolutely vital for these courts to come in. And we are so thankful the city believed in this, said local pro Cameron Blackwood. I was actually here last year at the same time, and to see all the courts they have built since then and all the players coming in more and more, it's been great to see the growth overall, said Florida pro pickleballer Paris Todd, who was visiting for the tournament. Fourth thing to know, as shared on Red Rock News for Sedona Red Rock News, pickleball court construction to start June 1 in Sedona, Arizona. The Sedona City Council unanimously approved a $1.598 million contract with Hope Construction of Flagstaff to convert the North softball field at Posse Grounds Park into 8 pickleball courts during its meeting May 14. Construction is expected to begin on June 1 and take 3 months to complete. New irrigation improvements to the existing irrigation system and new turf will be placed west of the courts. The City Council agenda stated the existing turf will be salvaged and transported to Ranger Station Park for placement by others. A shared use path will be constructed around this area and connected to the existing park. A gravel parking area with asphalt drive aisle is also included in the scope of this project. 28 parking bays will be provided, plus 2 disabilities compliance stalls for a total of 30 stalls. Irrigation for trees and plants to buffer the parking area from Posse Ground Road will also be installed. The tree and shrub planting will follow under separate contract. The first part will be adding that additional parking lot, but Posse Grounds Road will remain open. Parks and Recreation Manager Josh Fruenfred. So things like our softball league and some of that will be impacted a little bit, but move to the lower field as that construction begins. But other than that, regular park users shouldn't have much of an impact at all. Participation in softball leagues has been declining nationally and locally. It has been down a little bit last year. We're up to 7 teams, which is decent. I would still like to get a few more in there, hopefully, from a set. The department has met the demand for pickleball courts in the meantime by adapting the tennis courts at Posse Ground to shared use. The daily scheduled players at each session, averaging 30 players each session, were both morning and afternoon players on a single day. Dedicated courts with lighting were essential due to conflict with pickleball being a fast-paced sport. In addition, due to the limited number of courts, it discourages use due to the wait time. Paddles up.